Today we are discussing the importance of meeting all liquor legislation requirements in South Africa. But before we discuss the importance of meeting all liquor legislation requirements, we must have a broad understanding of the implications of the contravention of the Act. I hope that this lecture will help you to notice and realize when you see red flags in your business. You must be aware of Mr. Know-All, and your biggest enemy must be I heard. I would like to find that guy called I heard. I heard we may do this or we may do that. Imagine if you host a wedding reception and the police walks in and close down the show. You will have to find another job after that. The intention of this lecture is not to transform you into legal eagles, but to sensitize you to notice red flags in your liquor license business. I want you to remember one thing. He who thinks he knows can be more dangerous than he who doesn't know that he doesn't know. Let's have a look at the broad overview of the Liquor Act. The Liquor Act is regulated by two main acts with their regulations, namely the National Liquor Act 59 of 2003 with the National Liquor Regulations, and then the Provincial Liquor Act. Remember, each province have their own Liquor Act, except for Limpopo and Northwest, which still fall under the old 1989 Liquor Act and their respective regulations. Then we have the distribution or wholesale and manufacturing of liquor, but more for the larger volumes. The Liquor Act dictates the what, and the regulations dictates the how. The Provincial Liquor Acts are subservient to the National Liquor Act. The hospitality industry will mainly have to comply with the respective provincial acts and very seldom have anything to do with the National Liquor Act or manufacturing. Do not fear the liquor license inspector. Make sure you are compliant. Inspections by law enforcement officers. What will they look for? First of all, the original liquor license must be displayed on the wall of your business. We will discuss this later. Your renewal advice certificate must be displayed. Your appointment of manager must be displayed. And then they will check whether the address on your liquor license and the address that you are trading on corresponds. The type of business that you are conducting will be compared to what is allowed on your liquor license. For instance, in a restaurant, if you play loud music, live shows, you have pool tables, you will be fined. They will also investigate whether you have intoxicated persons on the premises. If you play any music, whether it's background music, live music, etc., whether you are registered with SAMPRO or SAMRO, do you have a business license and a fire and health certificates? The business license and the fire and health certificates falls under the municipal bylaws. They will look for counterfeit liquor and cigarettes, and whether you adhere to the trading hours. Next, they will look at the floor plan on the file. Remember, each and every application must submit a floor plan. A floor plan must be drawn up where liquor is sold and consumed. The outlay of your business, which you are trading on, may not deviate from the floor plan. So do not remove any walls, windows, build walls, or do any structural change to your premises. And don't sell liquor outside of the approved floor plan. The adherence to the Tobacco Products Control Amendment Act. In broad, the Tobacco Products Control Amendment Act is there to protect minors and non-smokers from the effect of breathing in secondary smoke. There is no premises that may have 100% smoking area. If you prefer to have a smoking area, it must be maximum 25% of the public area, and it must be properly partitioned from the rest of the premises. Most businesses are registered as non-smoking venues with smoking outside. The SAPS and the Liquor Board inspectors will check whether the trader or the owner actually is the licensed holder. You cannot drive a motor car with my driver's license. You cannot trade liquor on somebody else's liquor license. A liquor license stands on two legs, namely a building and a responsible person. It cannot stand on one leg only. Some landlords wish to control the liquor license, and they have a good reason for that. We will discuss this on a later stage. Beware of underage drinking. The minimum age is 18 years old. If an adult buys liquor for an underage person, you have technically sold the liquor to the underage person. You will then have underage drinking on your premises. This can cost you your license and a weekend in the police cells. Adherence to restricted areas. Restricted areas for underage are all bar counters. No children may sit at a bar counter, not even in the company of their parents. Don't ever allow that. And don't allow children in designated smoking areas. Questions are asked such as, my premises are unlicensed. May I offer free drinks? Then I don't sell. May I ask a cover charge? At the entrance, free drinks. May I issue coupons? May I offer drinks included in a meal purchased? Or ask the patrons to bring their own bottle of wine? Now you have to listen carefully. The Liquor Act clearly prohibits the sale of liquor unless the business has a valid liquor license. The identification of a sale is as follows. To sell includes to exchange or keep or offer or display or deliver or supply or dispose of for sale or authorize or allow for a sale. Therefore, the above clearly identifies that all the above is a sale of liquor. What happens if a customer, at the end of the evening, has not finished his bottle of wine and he wants to take it home? If you are licensed for on consumption, that is restaurants, hotels, guest houses, lodges and other, nobody may leave your premises with liquor to consume at any other place. The liquor may not leave the door of your premises. The customer will argue that he or she paid for it. Don't ever fall into that trap. Don't jeopardize your license for a half bottle of wine. What must I do when a law enforcement officer comes to my business? Remember one thing. Don't stress. Don't stress. Stress is that confusion created when one's mind overrides the body's basic desire to choke the living daylights out of somebody who desperately needs it. Don't choke the police officer. If you have a hostile attitude, it will complicate matters. Remember, these guys are trained to look for faults, and they will find faults. And it will be up to you to prove that they are wrong, and it will cost you dearly. The officer may enter your premises with or without your permission, so don't try to stop them at the door. Remember one thing, whether you are right or wrong doesn't matter. If you are arrested on a Friday night, you will stay in the holding cells of the police station until Monday, when the magistrate reports for duty. But beware, sometimes you will be offered the option of a fine. If you are issued a fine, get a lawyer. Don't pay that fine before your lawyer advises you to pay that fine. The reason for that is it can be an admission of guilt, and you can end up with a criminal record. And there goes your holiday to Mauritius. You won't get a visa. Remember that you, as the appointed manager, in terms of the Liquor Act, can be arrested together with the holder of the liquor license. Questions are asked, can I rent a liquor license? The short answer is no. A landlord who wishes to maintain control over the liquor license, sometimes rent the liquor license to a tenant. The landlord then appoints the tenant as the manager over the liquor license. The reason for that is if the tenant and the landlord parts ways, and the relationship between the tenant and the landlord is not good, and the liquor license is transferred into the tenant's name, the tenant can leave with that license, and the landlord must apply for a new license. That means he will be between 4 to 8 months or longer without a liquor license on that specific premises. When a police officer walks in there, or you land up in court, first the question will be, who receives the money of the proceeds of the liquor sales? If you profit from the liquor sales, the license must be on your name. I've received many questions. Can a person with a criminal record be the holder of a liquor license? A short answer is yes and no. The answer is no if you have been convicted in the preceding 10 years to imprisonment without the option of a fine. If you have been convicted in the preceding 5 years of an offence in terms of the Liquor Act and was sentenced to a fine of not less than 200 Rand or to imprisonment without the option of a fine or both, or if you have paid an admission of guilt fine. The answer is yes if your conviction is older than 10 years and your conviction was not liquor, drug or violence related. Remember, your liquor license may have no adverse effect on schools, churches and residential areas. The question here arises whether it's permissible to force one's neighbors to become captive listeners to your loud music in violation of their right to enjoyment of their property. Another question arises whether the complainant is too sensitive or easily irritable, and that a reasonable person would not have been affected by the music or the noise. Most such disturbances are addressed via the municipal bylaws. The reality is that most municipalities don't have instruments to measure the decibel levels, and very few municipalities will send out a person to investigate because the people are not paid overtime and their motor cars are locked after hours. What happens if your business is in contravention of the Liquor Act? And in the industry that you are in, you might find yourself in that position. First, you can receive a warning. Be thankful when that happens. You can receive a fine. Get a lawyer. Your stock can be confiscated. Get a lawyer. You can be arrested, get a lawyer, and your business can be closed, get a lawyer. Or you can be arrested, your stock can be confiscated, and your business can be closed. What are the challenges linked to obtaining a liquor license and to establish a liquor business? An application for a liquor license can be a daunting task for the uninformed. Some people try to do it themselves, and after a few years they give up and they get hold of a liquor license consultant or a lawyer. You must remember, an application for a liquor license can be compared to the baking of a cake. I can follow the recipe word by word in my attempt to bake a cake. But nowhere in that recipe is written, don't open the oven door because the cake will fall flat. And we have many such tricks of the trade with the applications of liquor licenses. And after 18 years as a liquor license consultant, I am still learning. Where do I start when I want to apply for a liquor license? First of all, you start with your premises. Don't start building. Look at the land that you want to occupy. Do not start spending money on renovating the existing building or start building a new building or sign a lease before you have cleared the following. First of all, visit your local municipality. Go to the planning department. Give them the address, the earth number, the stand number, the farm name, and identification of the premises. Tell them you want to apply for a liquor license for a restaurant, a hotel, whatever it is. Remember that each stand is zoned for a specific land use right. And I will elaborate on this because this is extremely important. A stand zoned for residential will not support a liquor license application, and your application will fail. Request a zoning certificate from the municipality. What are the influence of business rights or zoning of a property on a liquor license application? The land use right of the property is maybe the most important of all factors that can fail or success your liquor license application. You must remember the process regulates the subdivision of land, street plans, plans for public facilities, and building regulations. This planning process planned for the construction of schools, road, sewage, water and electricity supply, policing, fire protection, business and other. A property zoned for business, beware, there are different levels of business zoning. Make sure that the property is zoned correctly for what you want to operate. The essential purpose of zoning is to segregate residential, agricultural, commercial, business and industrial areas from one another. Regulations have been put into place to protect residential areas from encroachment by petrol stations, businesses, factories, liquor outlets and other disturbances. Now, under the 1989 Liquor Act, you can succeed with a liquor license application even though your zoning is not correct. But beware, under the municipal bylaws, the municipal officers may still close your business if the land use right does not support a liquor business. The next thing you do, you sign a lease contract. We cannot apply for a liquor license without a premises. But remember, this may result that the applicant pays rent on an empty premises until the liquor license is approved. This can mean that for 4 to 8 months or longer, say your rent is 100,000 Rand a month, you can pay out 800,000 Rand on an empty shop without trading one glass of beer. How long does it take before your liquor license is approved? It varies from provinces to provinces. Some provinces on average about 4 months, KZN 6 to 8 months or longer. During this period, I repeat, you will pay rent on an empty shop. Then you must apply for your SAPS clearance. You may not trade liquor if you have a criminal record. Visit your local SAPS and apply for the clearance. The police will take your fingerprints and send it to the Criminal Records Center for verification. If you apply as a juristic person, that is a PTY Limited, a trust, etc., you can issue a resolution of directors who appoints an individual who can act on behalf of that juristic person. And that one person must then apply for the police clearance. Alternatively, all the directors can apply if all of them sign the application form. Police clearance certificates are not required for the liquor license applications, which falls under the 1989 Liquor Act. Your next step is apply for your Receiver of Revenue Clearance PIN certificate. If you apply in your personal capacity, you need a SARS certificate in your personal name. If you apply in the name of a juristic person, you need a SARS certificate in the name of the company, closed corporation or trust. The SARS PIN certificates are not required for applications which falls under the 1989 Liquor Act. The next step is to draw up a floor plan. The floor plan must cover all places where liquor is sold and consumed. If you have a lapa outside or a pool and you want to serve liquor there, it must be on your floor plan. For a hotel, you must include the pub, the restaurant, the patio, the pool area, the lobby, all rooms, garden areas, picnic spots, and all other places where the liquor will be consumed. For a game lodge, I suggest that you include all the above, but that you also license the water holes. I have personally in Northwest licensed the game vehicles that are used on the lodge. And then contact a reputable liquor license consultant to facilitate this process. But beware, there are bogus liquor license consultants, and they will run away with your money. Okay. This will not only result in monetary loss, but time. This can waste 12 months or more. And remember, in Gauteng, the Liquor Act is clear that if you have a defective application and your application is refused, you may not apply on the same premises for the next 12 months. Now, if your license is declined, it will be about 4 to 6 months after your submission. 12 months later gives you 18 months. A new application, another 6 months before approval. So 2 years without any liquor license on that premises. How do we investigate the credibility of a liquor license consultant? First of all, investigate the contents and quality of the liquor license consultant's website. From the closed corporation or company's registration documentation, you can see how long the consultant was operational. Check with CIPC website and you can see if the entity is registered or deregistered. And ask for references and phone them. Most provinces, the application must go through a public participation process, except for the provinces that fall under the 1989 Liquor Act. This might include an intention to apply for a liquor license advertisement in the local newspaper or newspapers and the government gazette. A notice may be placed on the property. Notices may be delivered to residents within 100 meters from the applicant property. And we may be requested to attend a hearing with the liquor board, and the objector should object should he feel the reason for that. A liquor license may be transferred. If a business is sold, the liquor license can be transferred from the holder of the liquor license to the prospective holder of the license. It must be lodged at the liquor board. The removal of a license. Some people wish to move the business from one address to the next. In provinces such as KZN and other, you may move a property to another premises, but not in Gauteng. If you move your address, you must apply for a new license. What happens if I wish to host a function at my business in an area that is not licensed. Then you apply for a special events permit. Should you host a special event where liquor is sold, you can apply for that permit. It may be for a day or a weekend, and then you may proceed with your function and incorporate that into your licensed premises. I want to start a liquor license business. What advice can you give me? Here are some basic factors that you should keep in mind before you start a new liquor license business. They are, but not limited to: first of all, calculate the costs of your liquor license application. Secondly, your cost of paying rent on that empty shop while you wait for your liquor license. Decide on your target markets. Will you be targeting the high, medium, or low income group? That will guide you with regard to the products that you sell, the shop fixtures, your outlay, your lighting, etc. When you rent a shop, pay attention to the shop floor. Sometimes a tenant lays his own tiles, and when he moves out, he chops up all the tiles. That might be extra cost. Painting and renovation, estimate the cost. Determine the security requirements and the costs, such as your burglar bars, safety doors, alarm systems, armed response, and new locks for the shop. Don't use the old locks. You don't know how many keys are floating in town. Install your security mirrors, CCTV cameras, dummy cameras, alarm system, and sign up with a armed response company. Sign writing. Sign writing can be very expensive, and sign writing must be done right. Design and estimate the cost of sign writing and your promotional material. Proper signage and graphics are crucial to establish your brand recognition and must portray the message loud and clear that you are a restaurant or a pub or a hotel or whatever you are operating on. Decide on a name and logo and the colors of your logo and your business. Remember one thing: your business must jump out in the street. When you travel in town at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour, your signage, your business must be recognizable above all the other in the street. It must be clear, and it must draw the attention of the passers-by. Rather write less on the signboard, but don't clutter your board with too much information, and keep it simple. Next you must plan the lighting of your shop or your establishment very carefully. It must suit the required ambience of the type of business that you portray. Shop fittings, bar counters and shelving should be strong to support the weight of the liquor on display. 1 liter of liquor is approximately 1 kilogram weight. And instead of storing your products in a storeroom, you can create an attractive display with it. Your shelves must be fully stocked. It creates the impression of a successful business. Avoid partially stocked shelves. A good idea is to use your open space above the wall shelving for promotion on or alternatively it can be boxed with cladding or similar items. Impulse buying. This item is neglected in most businesses. If you walk into large department stores, well stocked and organized liquor stores, chemists, you will see they have an entrance to the cash register, a display of impulse buying goods. Those are items that you never had in mind to buy. But while you are there, you see those items and you buy them. A well-selected display of smaller items, usually bought on impulse, can be displayed either on your counter or at the back of the counter. Plan your temperature control. Get in specialists to do that. Either air conditioners, fireplaces, or whatever you want to use. Get quotes for a point of sale system. Point of sale system is a must. You must employ a powerful point of sale system to control your cash flow, your stock, shrinkage, and your sales statistics. Have a complete stock control system in place, and it must show theft, shrinkage after each stock take. It must have minimum and maximum stock levels as well as reorder levels. And it must flag on your computer system when you must reorder. Sometimes parking is neglected. Establish the suitability, quantity, safety and convenience level of the parking for your customers. Next, you must decide on your pricing strategy. Visit opposition shops and determine their prices. Find out from suppliers and the cost price of the products. Decide on your price marker. Remember, it is not a good strategy to be the cheapest in town and never start a price war. Next, you have to plan your product strategy very carefully. That includes your liquor sold, your menu, but all this will depend on your target market. Initially and before startup, it is difficult to know for sure which products are fast movers. However, you can talk to other dealers who are outside your influence area. Establish the fast moving stock and list them. But unfortunately, you cannot only stock fast moving stock. You must stock slow moving stock as well, more as a service product. Then compile a list of suppliers. This includes not only your liquor purchases, but your mechanics that will repair your refrigeration, electrical repairs, building repairs, etc. Don't buy liquor from liquor stores. It is illegal. Build up an excellent relationship with your suppliers. You need them as much as they need you. Try to line up alternative suppliers where possible. Buy all your fast-moving stock from your manufacturers and your slow-moving stock from wholesalers. Then decide on your employment strategy. Do not employ anybody for the work that you can do yourself. Remember, you are adding onto your overheads and you are reducing your profits. Work out your budget and cash flow before you employ anybody. Do your own buying and stock control, and ensure that your employees have no access to the point of sale systems managers' files. You as the owner must enter all stock delivered into the computer program, and no staff member may have any access to that program. Follow up on the applicant's previous employees and get a reference from them. Follow up the employees' qualifications. Draw up a disciplinary procedure and do lay a criminal charge against any employee that steals in your business. Don't just fire them. Otherwise, I might employ them and they will steal my stock. You have to consider the insurance costs of your business. Some lease contracts require the lessee to insure the shop front windows and other items. So read your lease contract and insure your stock and equipment for fire and theft. Register with the receiver of revenue, such as employees tax, pays you earn, value added tax, VAT, unemployment insurance fund and other. Then apply for a business license. This you apply from your local municipality, usually the health department. Apply for your fire and health certificates at your local municipality. Appoint a registered accountant and seek advice from your accountant on VAT registration and tax issues. That can save you a substantial amount of money paid out by do-it-yourself accountants. Don't do that. Decide on your trading hours and stick to it and advertise it at the entrance of your premises. Decide on the legal entity of your business. Are you going to trade as a sole proprietor, a Pty Limited, a partnership, a trust, or whatever you decide on? Negotiate with your bank on the cash deposit fee which can be a huge amount every month. Then open an account and apply for your credit card machine. Then order your stock. Don't run out of stock, but don't overstock. Work out a budget. Remember to budget for the actual and the hidden cost that we have discussed. Thinking of starting a liquor business? Do you need information? Do you have any questions? Our consultations are free, and you are free to contact us. Thank you.